Okay, I bought this book pretty much when it came out, like 3 years ago. That was probably a mistake, especially since I live in Britain. So the shipping costs, I don't remember how much they were, but it wasn't worth it. Especially because when I got this book, I already read it and I was like, this is pretty shit. But I haven't read it since then. So this is Jawbreakers, Jawbreakers Lost Souls, and then book 1 and then book 2. I really don't want to have to take photos with my phone to show you what I'm talking about, but I think I might have to. Lost Souls is first. I don't know if it's first chronologically or what the fuck it is, because book 1 is remastered. But whatever, I'll just read it in the order that it is in the book. Oof, this is bad. Just so many problems. The main one is the pacing. Like, it's just way too fast paced. Like, it's ridiculous. I feel like I could find something wrong with each individual page. I think I'm gonna have to do this review more like an open book test. Right off the bat, there's 5 main characters on the front page. 2 of them talk to each other and mention each other's names, so I know 2 of their names. So at that point, you might as well just put like little title cards next to them. Second page, Silk, the main guy, asks the black guy, Cuffs, if he could swim. He conscrews that with being racist. I don't know why. I guess I don't get the joke. But then yada yada yada, we end up in Nigeria and meet Zaxi. Now, I'm certainly no prude, but she looks ridiculous. Like, her bra essentially is like 2 tiny pieces of string holding a piece of cloth up. And then he lampshades it by being like, oh, you look kind of underdressed. And she's like, no, it's fine. It's like, you're not fooling anyone. You can't lampshade this away. There's boob armor, and then there's this. Also, the explanation of what's going on just gets completely skipped. Why? What? You see the problem? We meet Zaxi. The next page, it kind of sets up a romance between her and Cuffs. And the next page, they're out in the jungle. Next page, Kong is introduced. And then next page, Zaxi falls. And then they start fighting it. Like, holy shit, slow the fuck down. There's like this part with the eyeball and someone's standing underneath the eyeball. And then next to the eyeball, something happens and I don't know what it is. Oh, and then Cuffs gives Silk a boost and he's like, yo boy. I'm not really sure what this is supposed to mean in context. And then Cuffs saves Zaxi and then it's like, oh, romance bloomed. They start kissing. What? Can we just rewind? They met. He came on to her a little bit. We got out in the jungle. He saved her like twice in a very short period of time and now she's like, oh, I'm so safe when I'm with you and oh, I'm in love. Like, what? Now we're introducing a new guy, a cyborg robot. Like, what is this giant monkey's deal? What's going on with that? What's happening? So then we get an explanation from some guy and essentially this monkey just walked through a portal or something. That's it. 2 of the guys are captured. They break out. Turns out it was Zaxi's doing, or Zaxi's fault. Zaxi runs off, ends up with Cyborg Man. Exposition Man opens a portal. There was way too much going on. Cuff saves Zaxi, because, you know, their bond was just so strong. And Zaxi's like, you good, why did you do this? I don't deserve it. And of course, Cuff is like, no one does. What does that mean? Anyway, so the monkey's super scared, but like, he's not a bad person. He's freaking out. The Cyborg Man gets killed by the transport guy. Also, Silk is like bonded with the monkey because of some blood. Like, what? I wouldn't have brought this up, but them parting ways is treated as like a big deal. It isn't. Also, it's actually died, I guess. I think Cyborg, the Cyborg, like broke his neck or something. Honestly, I couldn't really tell you. Anyway, I was super upset about it. And again, I don't know why. So that was the end of Lost Souls. That was terrible. I didn't even really touch on the dialogue. I just don't want to talk about it. Like, it's so bare bones, but at the same time, when it tries to be anything but bare bones, it just falls completely flat. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to move on to book 1. Well, book 1 was better, but it wasn't really good. It starts with Hellraiser, or Hell Priest, or whatever his name is. I don't know why they did this, but the pages look dirty, and I hate it. Anyway, he was just scouting or whatever. He comes back. There's some on-the-nose dialogue and some more banter, and everyone's powers get introduced, I guess. They find the leader. The leader's like, yo, I'm gonna kill all these girls if you kill me. And Silk's like, whatever. And he just shoots him, but they save him anyway. And I don't know if that was was that the plan? Was that not the plan? What was that? I don't know, because that part of the book's just over now and we're moving on. We meet this girl and suddenly we have an assassination mission going on. It's a suicide mission with no pay. And Silk says, where's the downside? And I think that's sarcasm, but it's hard to tell. Also, Silk and the black guy, I forgot his name, they read completely differently than they did in the other comic book. It seems like it might be intentional on the black guy's part, I guess. There's also this panel that just looks so fucking hilarious. Set of panels, rather. It's just like this kind of like whoosh anime thing, and then it cuts to like black and white, serious. Oh my god. We were never heroes. We were superheroes. Just terrible. Then there's a set of panels I specifically remembered, because this is also just ridiculous. Devil Dog, who I think is Transport Man, comes up behind Silk in one panel, punches him in another panel, then in the next panel, he's standing over Silk, who's on the ground. I think this is where it's revealed that the girl giving the mission is his daughter. Silk's daughter, rather. Okay. And then his daughter comes and she's all like, I'm your daughter. And I'm like, what? There's also a, what, because I'm black? Joke here again, but it reads a lot better because it makes a lot more sense with what's being said. And then God King Man shows up and dematerializes all their weapons, I guess. So that was book 1. Oh my god, okay. This. So on the first page of book 2, some guy runs into a mine and fucking dies. I think he's Devil Dog. I think that's his name. I think he was in Lost Souls. Was he? Is that a prequel? The art has changed, so it's really hard to tell who's who when it was already hard to tell in the first place. Shouldn't have this guy being blown up being the end of book 1 instead of nothing being the end of book 1? And this book 2 abruptly starting with the death of this guy. And on page 2, he's like all burnt up and he's like, throw me. And he's like, no, I won't throw you. And then he throws him. And then all his friends are like, how could you throw him? And then this guy who like took a vow of silence is like talking. Then he starts roasting everyone. And Silk guy is like, you're a blind boxer. He's a super-powered ninja. Watch out, he'll kill you. I don't know, just the term super-powered ninja, like why are you saying that? Like, he knows who he is. Like, what do you want about? A normal person would have said, he's way stronger than you. Don't fight him. They run into this guy and he's like, oh, we have to hug. Because they fight him or knock him about. And then he's talking about how everyone around him is like adult babies, which is kind of a novel idea, I guess. It's basically irrelevant. Dude, it just keeps going. They run into this guy and he's talking about this backstory with this person who was traumatized. Like, what? Why is this still going? There's also this one part where they bring up Trump. Kind of dated. Didn't really need to be in there. Also, this part made me laugh. This guy just breaks through and they're like, who is this? And Silk's like, it's the Totalizer. And I'm like, who the fuck is the Totalizer? Who is this? Did I miss his name somewhere? I don't... What? And then right after that, they run into the sorcerer and his apprentice. And then they just pretend to be dead using the sorcerer's magic. And then the apprentice kills the sorcerer because he's like mad about still being an apprentice. He just got introduced a page ago. Dude, I cannot take this book at all. This is the worst one yet. Then he has a vision of his dead wife, and then this guy, the apprentice, tries to hurt Autumn, who's his daughter. And then he has a growing moment where he calls her his daughter. Finally, after the 2 times we saw it earlier where he didn't. And then for some reason he says to Autumn that he was talking to Autumn's mother. Why does he say that? And then we get to the last page where Silk's like, oh my god, I'm such a badass. I dream about murder, and I enjoy it. I'm such a badass. And that's the end of book 2. Honestly, the only thing I like out of this is the poster that comes with it. It's just of Zaxi, and it's exactly what you would expect. There's even a small version of it in the book. If I'm being perfectly honest, I completely forgot just how bad this book was. Like, I remember there being bad parts of it, but I don't remember it being this much. I think I just did the same thing I did with White Knight, where I just like disengaged. But White Knight was relatively well put together. Obviously, that was a professional book, and this is, you know, an independent one. But these characters are so poorly defined. Everything's like at breakneck pace. Like the story that's trying to be told in this should be like 5 times the size. And even then, like the apprentice was introduced, and then like a page later, he just starts killing his master because of a whole like thing. Like, what was that? The rush romance, the rush death, the rush subplot with his daughter. And that was the thing that got like the most like development in the entirety of this thing. And it was still super rushed. And someone needs to tell me, who is the totalizer? Who is the totalizer? Who is he? I guess for good things, the art of Lost Souls was really good. The art of Book 1 was pretty bad. I hated it. And the art of Book 2 was pretty good, but didn't really suit this story at all. I really don't want to look at how much I paid for this. This is exactly why. I don't like indie games. I don't like indie books. I don't like indie comics. You can always feel that it's independent. And in this case, like, you can really fucking feel it. This is just abysmal. Like, where's the page to set the scene and to do this and to... Where's the breathing room? Where's anything a comic has in this book? I'm going to give it a point for the art, a point for that adult baby idea, and a point for making me laugh. So that's 3 points, 3 out of 10. I think that's probably pretty generous, but it's pretty entertaining in a so bad it's good kind of way. I'm glad I can at least make a video out of it, because that's pretty much all it's good for. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with this thing now, though. Probably give it to the charity shop for some poor unsuspecting sap to pick it up. Or maybe I'll just keep it as an eternal reminder of the mistake I made.